Like it's back. Hello from the hole. Yeah, the BS never ends, guys. Fuck it. Yeah. BS never ends. Just keeps going and going and going through that stupid hole, waiting for something to come out on the other side with, and you're just suffocating. Make you feel really helpless. Make you feel like it's all meaningless, which it is meaningless. But we give it meaning. Everything is meaningless until we give it meaning. But, what is the point of living if you're going to be miserable? All this talk about profit and everything, it's just being miserable. Oh, that's the economy, that's the way it's got to be. No, it doesn't got to be that way. Life could be better with people just helping and sharing with each other. Oh, sure, but there's too much greed in the world, man. I mean, there's all this stuff talks about profit. People are just delusional. They think they got to have kids and bring them into a system where they got to work to survive. And, just how are you going to profit if you... Talking with my father last night. How are they going to profit if nobody gives this blah, blah? Well, simple, by just helping each other. Just helping each other. That's all that needs to be done. But people aren't going to do that. People are going to just fuck with each other because they're just always trying to be better than everybody else. They're creating their own hell, and then they make profits off of creating hell for other people. They said, see how fucking evil and unfair and stupid and fucked up that is. People are getting mistreated all the time. People feel helpless all the time. The BS never ends. You keep thinking that things are going to work out, and they never do. It's like here we are, you wake up the next day, it's like here, we're still in a bunch of crap. And then even when things do work out, it's usually because of wage slavery. And you're still miserable, So what's the point of it? What's the point of procreating into that? What do we got? 8 billion people on the planet now. Wow. So what? Just more suffering. Yeah. But, that's just the way it is. Nah. Doesn't got to be like that. I mean, life is hard enough. You bring animals into a world where they're going to eat each other to survive and inevitably die. That's stupid. That's a dumb existence, man. That's the dumbest existence you could possibly have, man. Think about it. Can you imagine a lamer existence than this, where I mean, anything you can imagine that's dumb is in this world. I mean, let's just think about it. I mean, anything stupid, don't ask me to name it all. There's so much of it. Anything dumb that you can think of is probably going to be in this world. It's, you're always struggling to get to the end of something so you can feel a little bit of release and comfort. And it's only a matter of time before you got to go right back into the fray again. And it's just made that way on purpose, guys. I mean, the thing is, if this God or whatever exists, which I do believe there is something higher up than this lame, dumbass existence. I mean, it's obviously either doesn't give a fuck about us, or it's just simply not interfering with free will consciousness, and it's just letting us just figure things out on our own or whatever, Because that's just what happens when you have a baby. That's why babies cry. They're probably having a vision of what they have to go through in their life. These babies, they get it. And when you're a child, it's like you understand that how life should be. That's why children act like that. And then they're just constantly dumbed down by the system. Go to school, sit in that desk and listen to all this crap that you don't give a fuck about. And then it's like, okay, now you're an adult, you gotta go get a job, be a wage slave. Why? What if I'm not interested in this stuff? Well, you gotta do it anyway. Why? Because it always comes back to two people having sex. None of us would be here in these physical bodies if it hadn't been for people been falling in so-called love, which is just stimulus, by the way. Real love is actually caring for people Your kid gets angry, you fight. That's not love when you treat them like that. That's just selfishness. You're just having a kid to your own selfish desires, and because you fell in love or whatever you call love, whatever humans call love. I mean, real love is just being there and loving each other, period, without anything else. I mean, that doesn't exist in the world, man. There's too much evil and deception here, man, That's why I say the BS never ends. But at the same time, now wait for it, I'll save it for the end of the video. There is something that does end the BS, and I think you guys know what I'm talking about. Well, we're not going to get into that until later. It's death, man. That's where the BS ends, but you know what I mean. Even in death, that can still be crap, right? Because if you create your own reality or a heaven or hell or whatever, and you still can have crap even after death, man. I mean, what makes you think that life ends just because you die? Man, it's just you keep on living your life. You keep on doing crap even in the afterlife. I mean, some people think you die and that's it, and it's like, okay, the BS ends there. Well, fine. Well, how can you explain us just existing out of nothing then? That doesn't resonate. I mean, you guys can disagree and comment below or whatever all you want, but that doesn't resonate with me. I don't believe that we just die and that's it. I think that we're already on some spiritual level, like where we go to sleep at night, but we're too spiritually asleep, because the physical body will not go to sleep until you go to sleep. This happens every night. That's why you get those, myoclonic jerks, whatever they call it, to see if you're awake, and then it'll just shut down. The body will shut down. As a mind, if you can still manage to keep your mind awake, then you can have these so-called out-of-body experiences. It's really more like out-of-mind experiences. They don't call it that. It's like, oh, I'm going out of my mind. So they call it out-of-body. Like you're actually moving inward. It feels like you're moving outward because you're flying and stuff, but that stuff is real. I mean, there's been stuff where people met up and did stuff, and then they woke up and they realized that they've had recorders on and stuff at Monroe, and if you guys want to research that, it's interesting. But a lot of people will probably be like, no, black hole, they're just making that stuff up. But I don't know. I believe that when I see it. I believe Jesus coming back in a rapture when I see it. All these things you got to have proof for. I mean, there's only one thing that I'm really sure of, and that's that I'm a conscious being. I'm aware I'm making this video, and you're aware that you're listening to it. And we're consciousness interacting with itself. We're all one great consciousness. Bits and pieces of that. When we evolve, it evolves. That it is just source consciousness, I amness, free will, God, whatever. What else would God be? Even God would have to be conscious. How could God exist outside of a system that it created? I don't know. It doesn't make sense how something can just exist without coming from something. And that something is just consciousness. Where does the consciousness come from? Oh my goodness. I guess it just came into being out of just the nothingness that just bored, even nothing is something. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Even nothing would have to be something. Because, everything is everything, right? Yeah, just all is whatever. You know what I mean. Anyway, back to the topic. Don't want to lose my train of thought. The BS never ends until you die, right? So anyway, we have all this stuff going on in the world that people bring on themselves, which, obviously it could be better. It doesn't have to be that difficult. But people got this thing that everything's just got to be difficult in order to be worthwhile. Everything got to be a pain in the ass before anything can just evolve the way it's naturally going to evolve anyway. So what is the point of evolution if everything has to be so difficult that it's hard to even live the life that you want to live. There is no point. It becomes meaningless, you see. They got the system set up to where someone has to slave their life away in order to just survive, and they barely have any time for themselves. And if they don't do it, then they're like ridiculed by family and ridiculed by this so-called society. They obviously they're having to do things that they don't want to do, and I've said it time and time again, we could improve the system. We can make a system where there's one guy coming in one day, another guy coming in another day. A lot of these jobs are simple enough to where, just about anybody can do them. And they got all this crap, like you got to go through, you got an application, hiring process, and interview process, and you fill all this stuff, you got competition, and why they got to be like that? Why can't we just do the damn work and not hurt anybody and go home and relax? Why has it got to be 5, 6, hell, some people are working 7 days a week. They're called doctors, they're called fucking, policemen maybe. I don't know how they work. They're probably more like 5 days a week. And fire people, they're always there. They're probably there 5 days a week on call and all that. I hate on call. I hate having to go to work when the phone rings. I hate having to do that. I hate night shift too. A day shift I could do that. But you got to do a lot of things that you don't want to do. You're forced. It gets to the point where you're forced to do it. And then you try to find something that you're more in tune with while you're doing that, if you can. Because it's always about, everything's so goddamn transactional. Everything is just so, everything is so like, you gotta have money, paper, I call it paper, dollar, God, I hate that word. I just say paper. We print it out every day. You gotta have that paper. I know it's pretty much the same thing I would say, but it's just in a different way. My channel is all about everything in life in general. And summing up my thoughts on it. You gotta have the money in order to do anything. You gotta have the paper. Sorry. We could easily fix the system to where, just a person come in one day, like the Wednesday person or the Saturday person, and they just go ahead and work the whole day, right? Go ahead and work the whole day, right? And then they'd have the whole rest of the week off. You know what I mean? Work one day and hell, not even that much, like 5 hours, and then have somebody else come in later in the day, and work the other 5 hours. We could easily do that. These millionaires and billionaires could easily help with all their stupid thousands and millions that they got of paper. Not money, paper. I almost said money again. It's paper. That's what it is. With the writing on it. And we give value to it. That's because that's the paper. It's me. It doesn't have value until we give value to it. But if we had a system where it was like that, instead of having to have one person do the work of like 20 people, 5, 6, 7 days a week, everybody would be happier. The work would still get done. A lot of the stuff is easy to learn. You gotta go through all this crap just to do a job that's simple. It's easy. You shouldn't even have to really go through anything in order to be able to do it. You got all these parents that bring you here, and they're like, "Oh, you can't get a job. You can't get it." Well, hell yeah, I can't get a job. These people aren't hiring, and then when they do, it's crap work, and you got to go through hell to get it. It's obvious that it's set up that way on purpose. That's not God, God, like I say, is consciousness. So yeah, in that sense, we're bringing everything on ourselves. This is a dense reality where you got to deal with stuff whether you like it or not, because of all the density of it. But the crap never ends until the people are gonna realize that they're doing this themselves, and they like it, they love it, they want to see you suffering. They don't want you to be happy. They want to make sure that your life is as miserable as it can possibly be, and then profit off of it. It's evil. The word live spelled backwards. It's fucking evil. dumbasses that rule this world. That we ought to take them out. But how can we do that? There's not enough that think like us. So therefore, the BS is never going to end. The BS never ends, right? Keep crawling through the fucking tunnel to nowhere. But so many people are going to be like, they're going to gaslight you and ostracize you, and they're going to be like, oh, that's life. This is just the way things are. Go ahead and have a kid, you know, and get, you know, look at, here's the world. And then the world's like, yeah, get to work. And the kid's like, why in the hell did you bring me here? You know, not first, if they're lucky enough to have a decent childhood, which millennials and all them, they, you know, some of, you know, Z, or not really, but more like X and millennials and baby boomers, their childhoods kicked ass, man. And they're the greatest generation. All those other people, they had to go through depression and everything, but then the baby boomers came when all that stuff calmed down, and it's like fucking, you know, now we're paying the price for all their fucking, you know, lollygagging, whatever. Anyway, it does seem as though when you got all these motherfuckers that just make life difficult, there's never going to be any change of pace in this world. There's never going to be anything that's better. Things aren't going to improve. Always the president's just a sideshow to all these people behind the scenes that are just fucking doing stuff that nobody's even aware that they're doing, you know. They want it that way. They want to be secretive. They really want to keep everything a secret. They want to make sure that everybody's just, yeah, this is the way life should be. This has to be done. We need to do this. That's life, you know. They want everybody like that. They want to program everybody, make sure that everybody sees what they want them to see, and everybody thinks and feels and what they want them to feel and think. It's stupid. It's the dumbing down of so-called society. Society is what we make of it. Everything is what we make of it. Oh, sure, there's always going to be stuff that have to be the way it is, but those things, you know, can easily change most of them. I mean, death will bring relief, yes, but the thing that, you know, animals are always going to have to eat each other to survive. That's never going to change until you die. I mean, death bring relief for that. Hopefully other places in this universe, multi-universe, you don't have to eat animals to survive. If you even believe in afterlife, you know. You don't have to subscribe to my channel if you don't believe in this stuff. Personally, I do believe in it. But, you know, it's better to just be a knower instead of a believer and actually experience these things for yourself. I've never taken the time to do it. But yeah, you guys can research out a body on the internet and it talks about it. But yeah, what was I saying? You can have a lot of, you know, there's always going to be stuff that happens in the world, right? There's always going to be the animals having to eat each other. There's always going to be the weather. You can't do anything about the weather. And yeah, it's those things you got to deal with whether you like it or not. But seems to me like a lot of this stuff that does happen in the world that's man-made could easily be changed, but it's just too much greed and evil. You know, people just fuck it up. The hell is other people, right? But, you know, this other stuff as far as animals eating each other and stuff, and the weather doing stuff, those things will always be there. That's what makes, you know, that's the only thing that really should give hardship. And, you know, we still can make do with that. Maybe everybody just eat plants or whatever and be a vegetarian, right? It's just even this world can be handled better, and people do the work better and make sure that everybody gets the stuff done without having to necessarily be a slave or all this wage slavery, because it's still slavery. It's modern slavery. It's wage slavery. That could be done pretty easily, but it's like people choose to make this world this way. And they pamper their kids, and then they shove them out in the world that they're not ready for, and school doesn't teach them what they need to know. And yeah, there's just always going to be ignorance. You know, people misusing their free will consciousness or whatever. That's why the BS never ends until you die. And even when you die, like I say, you could still experience this crap after death, from what I imagine. You know, imagination is like imagination. We're a nation of magicians. I love that. Old Bashar says that. I don't know if you're aware of Bashar. And that goes into higher mind and all that stuff, that everything exists in the world because somebody pulled it out of their little imagination. Most people be like, oh, it's just your imagination. No, damn right, it's my imagination. That's how everything comes to exist. And that's this world. Everything you see around you, all that you're experiencing, pretty much all of it is just, you know, a factor of your imagination. People making the world this way. People make the world this way. It's like they want a profit. They want you to be miserable. They want to pamper you and then put you in a world when you're old enough. School doesn't teach you nothing into a world that doesn't give a fuck about you, and that you have no idea what the hell it is that you really want to do. And then that's somehow your fault for two parents having sex. Doesn't it just piss you off, guys? I mean, just the more you think about it, the more you're like, what in the fuck did you bring me here for? Why? I mean, you know, just because you fell in love and had sex, and now I got to put up with all this crap because you didn't want an abortion. Okay, that's, you know, fuck you. You know, and then they'll call you an attitude. They'll say that you're a bad person for thinking this way. I'm a realist. I'm not pessimistic. I'm a realist. I see it for what it is. I see people getting discriminated over their fucking skin color and their race or whatever. And who gives a fuck? The only reason the skin is black is because of melanin in the skin to protect from the sun's rays. For fucking Christ's sake, people. None of this stuff matters. Nobody is inferior just because of something like that. I mean, it's just people that they just like to be assholes. They want to hurt you. They want to throw rocks at you. Heck, I had kids picking on me in school, and I would get all rowdy sometimes when I had a lot of homework to do after school and stuff. You know what I mean? I'd get all... Sometimes my pet would be there, and I'd be like... I don't want to say it, but I would actually throw them in a couple times, and it's just, I did all this stupid stuff. You know, forgive me. You know, you do these dumbass things because people do stupid things to you, and then you do other things to other things, and then that makes you feel guilty. That makes you be a bad person because you're either too young or you're too hurt inside to know what you're doing. And then you drink a lot because you know, it's supposed to help you always as a person. Oh, well, it's still something that you enjoy doing, but it's like you're always having to justify whatever it is you're doing because of the way the world has made you and what you got to deal with every day, because it never seems to end. And it makes you out to be a bad person, and you start doing stupid things, and the cycle just keeps going on and on forever. It's fucked up. Because that's what I mean when I say the BS never ends. Because there's always going to be evil people that like to make other people pissed off and evil like them, because they're so fucking evil, and they make other people evil because they're got to deal with their crap, and it makes them that way. And then they have kids, and then their kids get that way. It's Jesus fuck, it's such an evil world, guys. You can feel it all around you. Everywhere you go, you're doing everything you cope to make yourself feel as though you don't really feel as crappy as you do, so you won't do stupid things like that. So you can drive better, so you can talk better. You'll be all fake, like, yeah, life's great, man. How you doing today? Oh, yeah, great, but, yeah, do you really mean that? Nah. In your mind, you're thinking all kinds of crap, dare I say it. I know what's going on. I know how you feel and how fucked up everything can seem. And it just never seems to end, guys. And you just wake up every day and it's the same thing. It just seems to get dumber and dumber. And dumber and dumber and dumber and dumber. And it's like it just never ends, goes on and on and on forever. Why do we live like this? Because of these people. It always comes back to the same thing. I mean, I could ramble about it forever. These people making profits off of those people's misery, off of our misery. And there's not enough of us to think like this to do something about it. There's too many things put in the way. Oh, you go to prison. We're already in prison and hell, and we're going to even worse hell. You know? Because you got to sit in a prison cell now. It's like, what the fuck? It's like, no matter what, it's like you're just so trapped. There's nothing you can do to escape the pain and misery and grief of just basic everyday living that your parents forced you into by having sex. And then they think you owe them something. Buddy, you don't deserve nothing if you're a parent. All parents out there, I'm going to tell you through your fucking face. I mean, you don't deserve nothing if you're a parent. Your kid doesn't owe you nothing. You owe the child everything because you brought them in a world of narcissistic idiots, fools that doesn't give a fuck about you. They only want your stupid paper money that they created just so they could make life difficult. That's why money was created, so we got to have a symbol for effort or whatever so we can have goods and services. I think it's more like, no, more for me while you can just suffer and I can laugh in your face. It's all this. That's how it really is. These people could easily help. All these billionaires, trillionaires, whatever. They got more of this paper money they could ever want to spend. They could easily help, man. They don't. And then it's like, oh, donate to charity. Why don't you get help? It's just like this God in the Bible or whatever. It's like, why don't you help? Why do you need all these disciples to do everything? Why do you destroy something if you know that it's going to screw up? Just because people want to try to be themselves instead. Bring it on yourself, and it's just fucking stupid. And then people just always trying to find ways to be like, it's going to work out. Oh, yeah, we can't think like that. It'll work out. Yeah, sure. Has it worked out? No, the BS never ends. And when you die, you'll probably have to go through more BS. You'll probably have to have somebody being like, oh no, you got your brain all fucked up, so you're going to create malicious realities through your brain, right? Yeah, it's just stupid. I don't know. I could go on forever about it, but it's just these people think that it's cool to have a kid, man. Yeah, it's cool for you. The kid's gonna have to suffer. The kid's gonna have to deal with people discriminating and ridiculing and humiliating them. The list goes on and on their whole life. Oh, but you want a baby. I mean, it could be diseases. There could be all kinds of stuff that happened to the kid. But you want a baby. I can handle raising the kid. See, there it is. It's always about you. It's never about the child. I can handle raising a kid. I put a roof over you all these years. You owe me. I don't owe you nothing. The whole time the kid's sitting there like, I don't owe you nothing. You arguing with the kids. You sit the kid down. You bash into their room. When hell, they don't even have a door on it maybe, and they're standing there, dadgum parents standing there with their, how some of them do, with their hands crossed, and they're like, the mother's standing there behind the father or whatever. And it's like, I put you in this house, and just, the kid, and it's like, the whole time the kid's like, damn it, man, just leave me alone. All this is. And then the kid gets all pissed off, if they even care. Some kids just totally brush it off. And then they get all pissed off, and then the parent gets pissed off about them being pissed off, and then oh my God. And then the child ends up probably having to do something they don't care a fuck about doing. But no, that's life. And the BS never ends. And we had to have a kid. We just had to have a baby, man. even if it means the kids suffering their asses off. A world that doesn't give a fuck about them. It's just the most dumbest existence you could possibly have, guys. It is stupid. It's bullshit. It's horse shit. It's fucking manure shit. Oh my god. I hate this world. I hate people. It's just fuck this stupid. Jesus. Fuck. You know, you can hate it all you want, but oh, it'll make you feel better, and then you still got to deal with it. You know, no matter how many of these videos or whatever you listen to, you still got to deal with the world. Yeah, I drink my coffee here. What the fuck? I think I'll have some wine here in a minute, guys. I already had a beer. Might take a walk, might take a bath. I don't know what the fuck. I'm just tired of life. Aren't you tired of it, guys? Yes, black hole. Yes, black hole. We're tired of life. Making a nice long-ass video for us. Yes, I know. Thank you very much. Hope you guys love it to death. Hope you guys listen to it a million times. I want you to comment below and tell me what you think about how, you know, the BS is and how, whether or not, I mean, it's just obvious that you can easily change things, but, you know, you're always going to have to deal with other people's opinions, other people's perspectives of life. People just don't give a fuck, man. I mean, they're not going to help you just because you're begging them. They're going to be like, you know, they're only going to help you if it's beneficial to them or if they even feel like helping you. It's just, guys, so dumb. And all this crap making it so hard to get something that you probably don't even want. I don't want to live in a world like that. Oh, you don't know what you got until it's gone. Well, what the fuck, you know? They want to make you feel guilty. They want you to be scrounging for everything. They don't want, I mean, if you're lucky enough to not even know better, the ignorance, you know, like they say, ignorance is bliss. But anyway, guys, I got over a 30-minute video here. It's a nice long one I'm making for you guys. When does the video end? When does the BS video end? When I say so. Whenever the timer says. I don't want to live in this world anymore, guys, because it's just, people just don't know how to leave each other the fuck alone. People are just screwing and fucking with each other. They don't help each other. They don't want to be there for each other. And it's like, oh, your family will help. You know, well, they're supposed to help because they brought you into this mess. But it could have all been avoided if they just said, screw it and not have kids. You know, the universe wants you to procreate. The universe wants you to keep on letting the BS never end. And it's just, you know, the best way to say fuck it is just not have a kid. Say, you know, we're done. It's over. I see the world for what it is and I ain't bringing someone here. Take that, universe, world, or whatever. And then the world is powerless then, because it's just you rise above all the BS, and that's how it ends, guys. And that's pretty much how this fucking video ends. Okay, so that's all, folks, for now. We're done with this video. Like, share, subscribe. I will see you guys again when the time is right. This is Black Hole, Handle Black Hole. What's up? Peace, bye-bye for now, over and out. Keep coping, and yeah. Adios, amigos.